on the Country versus Metal podcast with Summer Dean. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I'm in Texas and the weather's gorgeous and the flowers are blooming and there's bluebonnets on the side of the road, so everything's great.
Yeah, it's good to hear it. Yeah, I'm excited for warm weather up here. I'm done with the cold.
Now, there's no way I could handle that.
Yeah,
I'd be
I,
in a bad mood all the time.
yeah. I just don't like it getting dark. You get off work and it's like it's dark by 5. You have like 30 minutes to do anything outside, and then it's like, yeah, you're done.
Yeah, then you end up going to bed way early. I go to bed way early anyway if I can, and like, but if it's dark early, I go to bed even more early. Just kind
Yeah,
of bummer Dean.
yeah, yeah. So I heard your name from Caitlin. I don't know if that is pronounced Will Hoyt.
Caitlin, yeah, yeah.
I just remember the first time I saw at the time was Mike and the Moon Pies.
Hmm.
Silverado, and she came up and she was like, "Oh, I date Zach, this steel pedal steel player." And I remember telling her, I was like, "Yeah, it took me a while. I didn't like pedal steel forever." And she was like, "What?" And she made sure that she was like, "You need to check out Summer Dean." And I was like, "Okay." And I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that's how I got introduced to
that's
your.
great. Yeah, she TM'd for us. She was my first ever TM. Like she didn't know how to TM and I didn't know how to have one. So we figured it out together. And then she went on the road with Silverado TMing for them for a while. Now I think she's moving on to Taylor. I don't know if that's public news, but so she's a great TM and she's a value to any band. I'm glad that she's working.
Yeah, yeah. It was fun hanging out with her,
Yeah,
and
she's cool. I first found out about you because you listened to the duet with me and Coulter, and people were tagging, and so I went and went and listened to it and watched it. And I was reading the comments, which I don't do all the time because I'll get in my head.
yeah,
And so I was reading the comments, and somebody said, "I like her voice, but in this song, this girl's like too vulnerable. I don't like it." And I'm like, well, that's kind of the whole point of the song, is that she's normally not, but in this song, today she is. So, but you can't please everybody.
yeah,
It's
yeah. The
fine.
comments.
Yeah, it's
Eh,
okay. It's okay. I'm just
Yeah,
glad they listen, and I'd rather a negative comment than none, I guess.
yeah. It drives engagement.
Yeah.
That's what the people are like. How come you just don't block the haters? I'm like, well, it helps, even though it's
Um,
negative. It
yeah.
helps, unfortunately, because people, they're like a lot of people that get big. They're like, just stop reading the comments. You're gonna get in your head and whatnot. But I'm like, man, like there's some good ones in there. You know?
Yeah, I don't mind necessarily a negative comment. Like I don't mind somebody giving me their opinion. Like I sometimes I kind of listen to it because their opinion represents a group, and so I'll listen to it and I don't know if I'll do anything about it, but I definitely will listen. But what we joke about in the van is when we call it shooting in our face, like when, when it's like you should, like when their statement starts, you should cover this or you should play with this guy, or they'll come up and be like, oh, you should really play with Sturgill Simpson. I'm like, yeah, that'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah,
But I can't really just like make that happen. But I'm glad that you think I'm there. You should play Billy Bob's. I'd love to, but I can't. It's so funny. Did you just shoot on me? Did you just shoot in my face?
yeah. Just let me make a call, and I'll be playing Billy Bob's this weekend for you. You know?
Yeah, on the next, yeah, I'll make sure you're there. On this next run we're doing, I'm going to start doing this thing where I go to the merch booth, mic'd up, and so I'll either get a bunch of nice things that people say because majority everybody's just really cool and nice, but I'll also get a lot of the other things that people say and compile those. I think it'll be pretty funny.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was in a wedding party once, and it was my first time, and I didn't know like the groom like wears a wire for like some like part of the wedding, and I remember the guy coming around. He was using a friend of ours, and he come walking in. And he goes, "Dude, he's got a mic on. Would you just shut up?" And I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me that? I'm like,
Yeah.
there's consent laws. I should have known it because I was just like, dude, we can leave. There's a golf cart right over there. We'll leave. You don't have to do
Just
this.
bolt.
And
It makes
yeah,
good content, though. I love those videos when the football players are mic'd up and stuff. Like, I
oh
love
yeah,
those.
yeah.
So,
I'm not a big sports guy, but if I see them, I love watching them as well.
yeah, they're funny. It's
Yeah,
cool. You get to the fourth wall comes down and you get to see inside a little bit, and so we're gonna try some of that on the next run.
yeah. That like I always tell bands. I said it'd be cool, like if you had like a VIP thing or whatnot, like another way to market, and to have receivers and give people your talkback mic frequency
Yeah,
so you can
yeah,
hear what you're saying to your drummer because
yeah, yeah. I would
or
like to
anybody.
make money. Well, so they don't want it. It's a bunch of cussing. They don't want to. They don't like meet and greets. I can't sell those because I say I can't. I haven't tried, but I'm not a very elusive artist. I like to be out and I like to talk to people, and I usually come out before and after. So people don't need to pay money to do that. So
Yeah,
maybe if I'd stay more in, but it's just not my style. We played at the Grand Ole Opry for the first time in December. And when I finished, I'm so used to throwing my stuff down and then running out to the merch booth to talk to people. So my energy is really placed somewhere all the time after a show. So we finished the Opry, the biggest show I've ever played, and we go off into the green room and I take a breath for a second, like, oh my gosh, I just did that. And then I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, I'm going to take a walk. And so I just started walking around the facilities. I've still got my show clothes on and everything. And I find myself in the audience, like with all the people. And I see my parents and I say hello, trying not to distract the show. And then I go outside, and my friends are smoking. So I'm out there talking to them. And I didn't know the whole time there were, like, I guess, Opry security following me around. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be walking around. No one told me. And they kind of got on to me for doing that. And I was like, well, I'm so sorry. I'm from the honky tonk where we go out and talk to people. But we go back to the Opry in May. So I will not, I won't do that this time.
yeah. I love that red outfit.
It
It
was cool, wasn't it?
yeah,
And then my friend Brennan Lee got me a Grand Ole Opry Barbie that day, and the girl that made my outfit made a little outfit for the Barbie. So I have a Barbie of me that day. It's
that's
really
cool.
cool. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. You're playing back in May, and also it was, you're playing the Broken Spoke in Austin, and you're the only third female to headline since 1971.
I mean, there's a lot of clouds around. There's a lot of clouds around all those stats. I'm the first one since COVID, for sure. Dolly was a big one that in '71, I think she headlined Inside, and there's a Texas traditional dance hall singer around here named Amber Digby, and she's done it, but they just don't. I'm not going to say that they don't hire a lot of women, but there haven't been a lot of women to do that. So
Yeah,
for whatever reason, and I'm stoked. And I'm going to have a bunch of people, probably all females, come and sit in and play fiddle and keys and sing other songs. And it's going to be great. We'll keep the dance floor full all night. It's going to be great. There's a real art to playing a 3 or 4 hour show in a Texas dance hall. It's not like any other show that you play um, because there's structures to it, and then there's structures to it based on the kind of dance hall you're playing. The Spoke is one of the oldest ones, but they don't really dance quite as traditionally in Austin as they do like in other places, and so it's a whole science of how many shuffles you play and how many um, waltzes you play, and taking the breaks at certain times, and then it kind of you basically MC the whole night. And there's just not a lot of people that are even familiar with that art or have that muscle as a band. And so I'm excited to flex mine this summer. It's going to be great. I hope we can get a lot of people out.
yeah, yeah. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, because I'll get paid from the door. So, so everybody come out, please, please,
Yeah,
please. Yeah.
yeah. Everyone, come see Summer.
Yeah. And the Broken Spoke. I mean, it's a Texas legend. Yeah.
Yeah, I love hearing about those venues, and I haven't really. I had a chance to go to Billy Bob's, and it was like late at night, and I had a festival the next day. But I really like just how like the music and the venues, they're all like tied to a history
Hmm.
of the town and everything, of the whole culture.
Yeah. And every region has a culture, and I'm mainly, familiar with the Texas versions of everything. But um, it's pretty cool that you can be a big deal in Texas and never tour outside the state lines and make a lot of money and be a big deal and sell a lot of records. Like, you can be a Texas artist and pretty much only play Texas and make a good living. And there's not a lot of states that you can do that in. And we're just so
Yeah,
lucky for the heritage and the history and the culture of it, and the tourism of it. And I'm grateful. We all of us, I think about that a lot right now, because all of us want to tour out, and we want to be national artists, but I can't neglect coming back and playing Texas. We come back all the time. In fact, we're only playing Texas all the way up until the end of May this year. So it's great. Less overhead, easy stuff.
yeah,
It's great.
yeah. I I know you're playing out here because I was walking around in the local venue and I see Summer Dean,
Which one?
Elkton Music Hall.
Yeah, yeah. The end of May. No, the
Yeah,
beginning of May, the end of April, like that chunk. Yeah, I'll be up there solo. Uh, that's gonna be cool. I need to post more about it. I was just thinking about that today, that I haven't told enough people about it. But that's gonna be cool. Yeah, just solo. I haven't done a solo run in a really long time, which is cool because I get to be a songwriter again. It's
yeah,
neat.
yeah, dude. I plan on being there,
Good. Yay.
and
Cool. Bring a crew.
yeah. I'm like, man, I have like no friends since doing this because this is all I do. But I will try. I'll definitely make videos, and it, it's funny. This involves Bill,
Yeah.
uh, Bill Corbin, your trainer.
Mm-hmm.
I've I've hung out with the members of Mickey and the Motor Cars.
Yeah.
I've never seen them live. They came to the same spot, and I was excited. I wanted to see Pablo, and I didn't. I don't know if I knew Bill was playing bass for them. Maybe I did or didn't.
It's pretty.
But
It's pretty fresh. Yeah.
yeah, and I tailgated. I didn't think I ever did it, but the person I was with was like, "Hey, there's a big dude behind you, just staring at you." And I was like, "Tell him we're not in line." Like, I don't. I woke up and I'm like, "Oh my god, what happened?" I don't remember anything, and it was crazy because the person I was, they're like, did somebody like dose you?" I'm like, "I have no idea. All I know is I." And they described, and they were like, "He looked like Mr. Incredible." I was like, "Oh my god, Bill Corbin! Oh
It's
my
Bill
god, you mean
Corbin.
the?"
Yeah.
I was like, I was probably so embarrassed, and then I went to Texas and I saw him. I was like, "Hey, you were at Elkton Music Hall? You play with Mickey now?" And he's like, "Dude, it was you. I knew it was you. I was standing behind you. I wanted to talk to you." And I'm like, "Sorry, man. I was probably so embarrassed, but like, it's a cool venue.
Good.
It has really great sound. I try to go there. I try to go there as often as I can when there's a lot of original acts. They do a lot of tribute bands and stuff, which I'm not in the tribute bands, but the actor Jeff Daniels was just there this weekend.
Oh, cool.
But like, yeah, he's a really good guitar player. I was really
He's
surprised.
Jeff. No, okay, wait. I'm thinking Jeff Bridges. Never mind. Because
Uh,
Jeff Bridges is on my list.
yeah, I would Dumb and Dumber, and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
He's a good guitar player.
yeah, he blew me
Whoa.
away. He blew
Yeah,
me
I had
away.
no idea.
Yeah, and yeah, he sings well too. I was really
Cool.
impressed. I all those actors. a lot of them, you know, oh, we're in a band, I'm a musician, and they always just like, it's weird when you're that level of fame. You should be friends with the best guitar players in the world. You know, like, hey,
Yeah.
buddy, you mind sitting down and tell me how to play this thing? I always feel like they get to the point where like they could be good, but they just kind of just hang in the middle there,
Yeah.
and it just I don't know if it was
Well,
anybody else.
it would probably be weird. I would think that you'd feel a lot of pressure. Like, I would think that you'd feel a lot expected of you, or like people are going to pay closer attention to how good you are because they think they want you to be bad, kind of, or I
Yeah,
don't know. I feel like they have to earn their a lot harder than maybe just a musician would, you know?
yeah, I
Even a
see that.
musician being an actor, like I feel like that's probably an easier transition than an actor becoming a musician, and so there's a lot of pressure on him. But yeah, there's been several try, and I watch their show and I see the frustration and I understand it, but it's not as easy as it looks, and sometimes the actors becoming musicians are a prime example of that. It's not as
Yeah,
easy as it looks, and all these great musicians make it look easy, and it ain't. You're talking about tribute bands. Something we talk about in the van a lot. A question talk about is, it's a two-part answer. Like, if you were going to be in a tribute band or a cover band, either one, but a tribute, who would you want to do? Like, what would be the most fun personally for you to be in a tribute band for? And then who would be, what would you probably be the best at? Because usually they're two different things. Like, and we talk about it in the van a lot. And mine's usually like, if I would want to be in an early Reba tribute event, like early Reba and Judds, like in that 70s and 80s, Reba and the Judds. But I'd probably be the best at a Tanya tribute, Tanya Tucker. So there are two different answers. I would want to do this, but I'd be better at this. Funny.
now who would you want to sing in a Summer Dean tribute? Do you have an artist?
Oh, it's a great question. Um, I'd reverse it. I would love if Tanya Tucker would sing some of my songs. I would love if Connie Smith would. I got to see her in the Opry, and that was pretty amazing. Gosh, I don't really care. Really, it's cool when anybody does. But that doesn't happen very much. But it's cool when any does. But if a hero even knew I existed, that would be awesome. So, but a whole tribute, like, I don't know. I have no idea. That's a good question. Like, who would you want to play you in a movie? Kind of question, you know?
Yeah. Now is like Reba like who is your like your country artist like hero? Do you have a top or just a bunch of?
I have a top group, probably. There's different ones for different reasons. Like, I don't think there's one female country artist that's not doesn't think about Reba. I mean, I don't know. She's a little bit polarizing sometimes because of her style, but vocal style. But Reba's from not far where I'm from, and so she's got red hair like my mom, and so I just feel really kindred with her, and like and then Connie Smith. These two I mentioned. Uh, I cried when I met Connie, like ugly cried. It was embarrassing, and I would probably do the same with Reba. Um, but yeah, Connie and Reba and dang, I mean, Merle Haggard, Keith Whitley. Uh, these are all top tiers for me. I guess
Yeah,
those four. I mean, I'm sure there's other ones I really like, but those are the ones like we'll never get tired of. You know.
yeah. Now if you did meet Reba and you told her that you were a country artist and she asked you,
I'm here. I'm here.
it's all right, and she asked you, oh, you're a country artist, and she said, what have you done that would make me proud? Do you have an answer for that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I've stayed pretty true to what it is and what it was but tried to keep it as honest as I could at the same time. And I feel like she's done that too. Um, I think it's pretty cool that no matter what Reba puts out, we're still going to call it country music because of who she is. And I feel like that's a lot of my brand as well. And yeah, I think she would be proud of that. I lead my band and I lead my group, and she seems like the kind of woman like that too. So I hope she would be proud of that. I think she would.
Yeah, and I love your sound. I
Thank
love
you.
like your last album. It sounds like people went in and made real music, and like I love how like the song titles like match the song. It did like
Yeah.
it just did one. It was like 2.5 minutes, and it just reminded me, and it's very nostalgic. Like it reminded me of like Loretta Lynn, like Fist City. You know, it's
Thanks. Yeah, it sounds that way. I'm glad you feel that from it. It sounds that way because it's a completely analog record. No computers were ever used until it was finished, and and so that's the way the next Waltz and Bruce Robinson. That's the way they record, and so it was a really organic process. Really stressful singing without knowing that everything's going to be just like you have it in.
yeah,
And I like funny titles. I like comedy. There's a lot of comedy in my set, and I like funny titles. That's kind of a tradition in country music. Long titles and parentheses and things like that, and play on words. There's a it's a tradition in old school like traditional country music, and so I guess I just come by it naturally. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to think about it that way, to be a wordsmith with it.
yeah. It it does transcend definitely to the listener that you're listening to something real and authentic, and I just love how like raw it is, and I just really appreciate someone that like you said you are vulnerable when you are singing, and the other people like auto tune can add stuff, and there's also it can take away stuff to make you sound better
Yeah,
in a mix.
yeah, I agree. Sometimes, like the imperfections help make it really relatable. And I think when you record analog, you have to really concentrate and do your best. And everybody's game face is way on, and you're trying to relax and feel the environment, but everybody's very concentrating. Vocally, I've got to think lyrics, pitch, breath, timing, all at once. There's no fixing or going back or whatever. There's no erasing. So it's
Yeah,
like you write your final draft in pen and that's all you've got. And and so when you try your very best, but then at the same time you have to let go of perfection because it won't be perfect.
yeah,
And I think when an artist can concentrate that hard to to do a good job and then let go of perfection, you're going to get the really honest work and maybe their best work. And there's some stuff on there that's pitchy. There's some stuff that if I could have had autotune, I would have gone back and fixed it. But that's not the way it is. There's a talking song on there called Balin Wire. And it was really stressful. It was a white knuckled recording because there's so many words, and the timing, the phrasing has to be right because it's poetry, cowboy poetry, and there's just a way that you do that. And if you mess up, just start over. So you can go all the way down to the end and mess it up. So finally, I made it all the way through. I don't remember how many takes. It wasn't too many, but I certainly didn't get it a handful of times. Made it all the way through. It's quiet. We got to get the end. And then finally, I take a breath. And Bruce came out and said, Bruce Robinson, the producer, came out and said, all right, you got it. Good job, good job. I was like, thanks, I'm excited. And so let's listen back. So we listened back, and there are some things I would have changed, influxes I would have changed and stuff. And he said, well, do you think you can do better? I'm like, yep, I do. And he said, well, if you do, we've got to erase this and you've got to just do it all again. It's like, okay, then nope. No, let's just take it. So that's really organic and that's a cool way to do it. And I'm glad that I now have an album that's analog. I don't know if I want the next one to be the next one. I kind of want to rock out a little bit. I want to have more. I want to let loose and burn the barn down a little bit on the next one.
Yeah,
Sounds fun.
little heavier.
Well, yeah, a little heavier, and I kind of want to match the album with my live show a little better. The Biggest Life album is a great album and real acoustic and natural, but our shows have a lot of energy and comedy and moving around and wind in the hair and stuff like that. So I kind of want to give a live show vibe on the next album. So,
Okay. Yeah,
you
I
know,
get that.
why not? Tammy, why not?
So your live shows are definitely a lot different when people that only know you from the record and they come, they show up and they go, did not expect that.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy and drama, and I love to perform. I think it's my favorite part of all of it is performing, and so I want to keep that energy going on the next full length. We put a single out that was a cover in January, and it's a little more like the live show, and so we're kind of testing things out and see how it goes. So it's fun. People seem to like when I do hard pushing country music. So that's what we'll do. Yeah.
Yeah, I have I just remember asking someone if they want to go to a show, and they're like, "Who do you want to go see?" And I said, "We're gonna go see Shane Smith and the Saints." And I played them a song. They went, "That's just way too much. I'm not really feeling that." And I was like, "Oh, what?" And I'm like, "Just go, just
Mhm.
go." And next thing you know, it was just like, it's like, "Oh my god, these guys are amazing." I was like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "How did that not transcend?" And it's weird to be like to like think of the mindset of that of just hearing it. You're like, oh, but to see him live and like maybe like to see you live, like it would just change the outlook on like all your other music too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Especially from the last album, because it's way more chill. The album before that, Bad Romantic, had more energy. And The Biggest Life is a pretty chill. It's a listening album. It's a songwriter's album. I mean, there's fun, upbeat songs on there, but it's a writer's album.
yeah,
And so even my agent, sometimes people will be like, well, I don't know. He'll be like, well, I've got Summer Dean available that day. And so they'll go listen. They're like, I don't know. It might not be what we need. And then he sends them a live video of the dancers and stuff like that. I mean, nobody's throwing beers. That's the hot thing to do right now. Don't do that at my show. But if there's dancers and stuff like that, then they're like, okay, yeah. We will have her then. So that's what tells me, like, I think with every album, it's like it's a muscle you want to flex. I feel like my first little EP called Unladylike, I was just trying to get some of my songs able to sell at my shows. There wasn't any purpose behind it besides just physical content. The second album, uh, I seemed like I just wanted to, hindsight, I realized I wanted to just say, hey, this is the way I see country music. It's hard, it's fast, it's like this. It's got drama. And then the next album, I flexed a songwriting muscle. So I feel like every time you just kind of get a feeling, and it's an artistic road you want to get on for that album, and it's cool. We can do whatever we want.
yeah,
Neat.
yeah. And I
If
love
you have
like,
money.
yeah, that's always a thing too. But
Dang. Yeah.
I love how like how many facets of you there are, and also like I never knew like after I watched Caitlin Butts accept an award and her speech about like female artists. I had no idea, and like I was talking to Della Rose, and I'm like, "Is this a thing?" They're like, "Oh yeah, it's a huge thing." And like, have you seen that? Because like I never knew about it because like I come from like heavy like the heavier. It was always like guys, and then like you find like females hit frequencies that just males can't hit, and they're, they're fantastic. I don't understand. Like a lot of people are like, oh, another festival with no females and this, and I never noticed it. And I'm glad people are female artists are just like, hey, we're here, we're doing the same thing, we're doing the grind, we're putting in the work, and like Brie Bagwell's thing, and I'm just like, man, like it I didn't know, I had no idea, and it's like hurt my heart because like doing all this and finding all these great artists, it's just, man, it it's frustrating for me, like for me as a thing, because like I why would you not want, you know, there's
Well,
so
I
much
was there
talent
for
out
that
there.
speech. Caitlin's we're compadres, you know, and I was there for that speech. I received her on side stage and gave her a big hug. Uh, there are a lot of badass girls out there doing the thing, and there's a lot of badass guys doing it too, you know. And the good thing is it's on the upswing. And this is I don't know. I don't have a feminist take on this. Um, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I was raised from strong women, or that I was raised both as a boy and a girl, kind of a thing. I mean, I don't mean that political. I just mean
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not going to explain myself. So uh, I don't have a feminist take on it. I think there's nobody that puts on a festival that gets in a room or on an email thing and says, let's not hire a women. Like, they're not saying,
Yeah.
let's not do that. You know, they want to hire people that are going to sell tickets.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's it. And so uh, it's up to every artist, if you want to get on the festival circuit, to be the one that's selling the tickets, you know? And so that's all it is. And I, I I get a little backlash from some women for my approach on it, but I feel like I have an advantage being a girl sometimes. I get to strut around in my tight pants and sing songs that I wrote with wind in my hair. Like, heck yeah, like this feels awesome. So, and I I love it. And there's badass guys out there, and there's badass girls out there, and I, if there is some uh, issues about the girl thing, I don't feel it as much, and maybe it's there and I don't recognize it. But I mean, I'm not the one in the big festivals. I'm not, you know, but I love it when I see girls do it, because you're like, oh, that if that girl's got it, that means I'm one step closer too, you know, and like, oh, if Caitlin's got on two step in this weekend, that means I'm one step closer to two step in too, you know, and we're all inside. Tanya Tucker said it. We're all inside this Trojan horse, and we're just getting in, and we're coming out, you know. So I think it's a great time to be a woman in music and in country music, and because we're killing it right now, and a lot of the dudes are killing it too, and so
Yeah.
I think it's great. But I mean, of course, I want to see more women on the bill, but we are seeing more and more all the time. I've never been the one that like. Um, I don't think complaining gets you anything.
Yeah.
Just be a badass, work hard, sell your tickets, be really good band, and you'll get there. You know, I don't think complaining does much, so I just don't. I mean, I complain about other shit, but I'm not complaining about that. I might complain the green room's too damn hot and I can't get my pants up. You know, I might complain about that, but I won't complain about. I mean, I'm just glad to be there. You know, it's cool.
Yeah. So you talked about tight pants. Who is the tightest pants in country? Dwight Yoakam, do you think?
I gotta be one of them because
Yeah.
I can't even breathe. I've got to be one of them. Um, I don't know. Some of them dudes wear really tight pants, you
I
know.
the first I knew Dwight Yoakam and Sling Blade. I'm hurting Linda, and like I had no idea he was a musician. And then somebody was like, "You got to see him play," and I saw him doing like
Yeah, his whole
that
thing.
show, and I was like, "It looks like they painted those Wranglers on him." Like,
You know he laid down to zip those for sure.
yeah,
You know.
yes, somebody
Yeah.
screwed him on him.
It looks good on stage though. It's fun, you know. Hey, showbiz, man, showbiz. Go for it. And then you just put on sweats and you go to the hotel, you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, stage. Thankfully, like stage clothes for me was like a black a black V-neck T-shirt. But like I just like I was listening to Brie Bagwell's podcast, and she was talking about sacrificing style over comfort. Is that a thing you do
Oh
constantly?
my gosh. Yes. I say this a lot with my band. I wish from the beginning I had been one of those artists that like didn't wear makeup and wore a t-shirt like that's my thing, you know?
Yeah,
But I didn't do that. And I don't think my fans would care. You know, I don't think they'd probably be like, oh, cool, look, we can see a different version of Summer tonight. But I love, like I said, I love to perform and it's cool. I don't think about it uh, too much, but I have a great time with it. I get inspo. So the way I do it, and I got this idea from Mike Harmeyer, Silverado, I mean, probably 15, 20 years ago. Um, like I like to think about it in sections. So like, okay, summer of 2025, what's going to be my vibe? What's going to be our look as a band? And even your day clothes, you know? And so I kind of shop and buy things at vintage and for the guys and for me too. And it all kind of has a vibe. And you kind of get sick of that. And so you're like, okay, now I'm going to do a bunch of like leather and stuff like that. And it's fun. And these people spent their money that they worked hard to earn for some entertainment, you know? So let's give them a great time. And this is no longer an invisible art. This is a very visible art now. And it's fun to lean all the way into your brand and do a version of you 10 times, 10, times 10. It's fun. And it's cool to work with other makers and stuff like that and show off their stuff. And you're being yourself. You're just exaggerating it. And it's a blast to me. But I do get tired night after night on the road, like putting my eyelashes on and putting my fake tan on and doing all that stuff. But that gets real tiring. But, shut up and do it. That's all.
yeah. I I definitely do like it just like ZZ Top, and they had like the nudie suits and all those guys wearing like
Oh,
the just amplified their personality.
makes the
And
whole
it's
show just something. Yeah, it's amplified. It's all it is, amplification, and it's awesome.
yeah, and it's it's fun to look at. And
Yeah, yeah. Look at Kiss.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and it's I mean even Graham Parsons with the suits, and it's just it's awesome, and that's a really fun part of it. And like I said, it highlights makers, which is really cool, and because they're doing a whole thing and bringing more visuals to the whole process and to the show, and it's cool.
yeah. It
Yeah,
definitely you know, it's a flair. Show your
yeah,
flair.
yeah, yeah.
I definitely dig it. But like, so is music like life? If you weren't doing music, is there something else that you'd find yourself doing?
Well, I went to school in Lubbock, Texas, and college in Lubbock, Texas, as an agricultural major. I'm from a ranching family, and I always thought I'd be doing that and that stuff for a living. And I did a bunch of jobs. I was a real estate agent. I was a school teacher mainly. I was an elementary school teacher till the age of 39. I didn't go full time music until 39 years old. I'm 45, and which is crazy old for this industry. But whatever. The older the violin, the sweeter the music, I guess. I would not go back and be a teacher again. But now that I've learned this business, I really love being organized with it, and I like being in charge. So if I wasn't a performer, I'm not a good enough musician to like play in a band. But if I wasn't a front person, I would probably TM for another band. I like keeping track of all that stuff and being organized and communicating, and I like making a show happen. And
Yeah,
so I'd probably TM for another band. I don't know. I don't know. That still would be fun to do anyway. I don't know. But I
Yeah.
really love to perform, so I'm going to keep performing for now.
Yeah.
But
That
I'm not
it's
really good enough guitar player or a good enough singer or producer or anything like that to do that. I mean, I can do all that. I can do all that fine, but um, I don't think I could. I'd rather be a TM, I think.
yeah, it's fun. It's fun in the it's a hustle. Like
Mm,
when you're trying to find ways just to, you know, make money,
yeah,
make it to the next show. You know, are we
yeah,
eating peanut butter and jelly, or did we sell enough merch? You know, you can sit down and
yeah. Well, I
have a
like that.
dinner.
Yeah, merch is a thing. We do great on. I love merch. Uh, I love to design merch and get ideas when we vintage shop a lot, and I love merch. We usually do pretty good at the merch table, and I think that's one thing a lot of bands that are making their way up the ladder. I think a lot of bands don't spend enough money and attention at merch, and because gosh, I did a tour for about a month, opening for another band as a duo, just me and my steel player and Caitlin, RTM. The three of us on the road for about a month, just opening gigs. That's it. So I wasn't making much money to play uh, openings. I mean, maybe $200 a night, like not much money at all. But I made 14 grand that month at merch.
Wow.
I mean, you can make if you try hard and you brand it right, and it's all part of your narrative, and you theme it right, and try to think of things that not just koozies and t-shirts, have those, but like think of other things, and then you can really make money at merch. And gosh, I was opening solo for Charlie Crockett. I had 3 or 4 shows with Charlie before COVID. So who even knows when it was, but it was before COVID sometime. And playing solo, touring solo, like no one else with me helping, nothing. And I made $3,000 a night slinging my t-shirts next to Charlie's. And so I think merch is, I tell if any band, if they ask for advice, I have a list of stuff, but that's one thing I say is like, pay attention to merch, and
Yeah.
because you can make money and doesn't have to cost a lot,
Yeah.
or
Are you?
invest in it.
Yeah. Are you somebody? Because like it's also like your meet and greet,
Yeah.
and you can without the person knowing. Do you have like a system of how to sell them that shirt? You know, like in the Wolf
I
of Wall
mean,
Street, sell me this pen.
yeah. Uh, Not, I mean, probably unintentionally. I do make sure that I've got a lot of different vibes, and uh, not just something that I would wear. I try to think about. I call them normies. I ask my normie friends what they like because they represent a whole vibe that would sell. And the point of merch is selling 2 reasons: you want to make money and you want to advertise yourself, right?
Yeah,
So don't have a shirt that doesn't have your name or face on it. Like that's the whole point. But like, I mean, I guess as far as like having to sell more, I do make sure that the people selling it know about the merch, like know if it had a cool designer. Like we have the same guy, Easy Nelson, that does a lot of like Cody Jinks's album covers, do stuff for us, and Pecos McCool that does stuff for other artists, and it kind of so they know that they're not just buying my T-shirt; they're helping the designer out too, and it always sells better if I'm over there, and we'll make deals. If somebody's doesn't want to pay $30 for a T-shirt, we'll give you 2 for 50, and see if that works. Like I just uh, I just want them to get something and remember the show and come back again. So I don't know if there's really a trick. Uh, but we just hustle. We just hustle. I guess that's the trick: is hustle and try and make it look good, and have it neatly lit. Like invest in it. Make your merch booth great. and make it a store. We've been doing vintage pearl snaps with putting our logo on them, and that's been blowing out. So that's been good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's I, I do like your style, and there's a lot of other people in there's vintage shops and there's like thrift shops and all. It's funny. It's like I've slid into some like even like guys DMs. I'll be like, hey man, not hitting on you or anything, but man, you got great style. Where do you shop? And he's like,
And I bet
it-
it's always just thrifting,
yeah,
vintage.
he's like the
Yeah.
Salvation Army. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's incredible. I was like, I need to start going into these stores because I normally just drop stuff off at these places. I've never gone in. I remember it was Liam St. John. I was like, dude, I have to ask, like, where do you get your clothes at, dude? Like, it just looks
Well, we're
cool.
on the road. If there's any downtime, we're all looking for vintage and thrift shops every time.
Yeah.
So it's constant shopping and looking for show clothes, looking for day clothes, and it's fun. I think we're all into it because we're all showmen.
Yeah.
So we like style and vibes and looks, and it's part of the whole thing, and it's fun to me. And like I said, it's not forced. It's just concentrated on. It's fun.
Yeah.
And then
Now,
other brands like clothing brands will work with us and stuff too, and that's real fun
yeah. Now,
when
now, if you,
it's your style.
yeah, if you find something at like a thrift store that you're going to wear for a show, do you ever like buy two of everything and the people at your show can buy your exact outfit
No,
at the
that
merch
would be
booth?
rad. At a thrift store, there's not really two of things,
Yeah, that's true.
you know. But well, I there's a flea market every Sunday here in Fort Worth when I'm home, and I've got some ladies there that know what I'm doing when I'm buying 25 pearl snaps, and they give me a really good deal. And so sometimes they'll put some things back and bring them out and bring them out for me. But um, I'm also looking like we get a range of sizes and it would be cool to get our exact stuff. Yeah, that's a good idea. I don't know how we would do that, but that'd be a good idea. Sure, why not? When the venues don't take 20%.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
we
another
set it
thing
up.
that when BJ brought that up, I was like,
Yeah.
what? That's
Yeah, we either don't set it up, which I understand why the venues think that they uh, should do that, and that's their prerogative to do. That's totally fine. It's not like I'm not mad at them when they do. I just either raise my prices that much percent, or we don't set it up, or we just encourage people to buy online.
yeah,
I can't always afford to give a venue 20 or 25. But think once I pay the person to sell it, and then I pay, a lot of bands have management that get a percentage of merch, and then you pay like it's 50% of sales off the top.
that
And like if you pay 10% to the person selling it, which is not a lot, and you pay 20% to your management and you pay 20% to the venue, there's 50% that so yeah, we're gonna jack prices up because
yeah,
I can't afford to even set it up for that, so it's wild. So
yeah,
thank you everybody who buys shirts and hats and everything else that's over there. So
yeah.
it helps.
Summer Dean is a small business. You need to
Hmm.
invest in a small business, and it's a brand.
Hmm. It is. It is. There is a narrative. It's a brand. It's all of it.
Yeah, merch makes a big deal. Did you get the dreaded phone call? Yep, we're back. The battery
We're back.
got us again.
I'm sorry. I'm
It's all
sorry.
right.
Okay.
See, these are all we need to do another podcast.
It's real stuff. It's real stuff. Yeah.
It's all the authentic, just like Summer Dean's music. Download
You know,
where you can.
that word comes up a lot in my I don't know. I hear that word a lot about me, and I I don't understand who's not authentic. Like, what is it that's how do you do this and not be authentic? So I don't know what it is.
Man,
I don't
I
know.
can
I don't know. Like, I don't. Nobody's being fake, or well, that's a lie. But
yeah, I'm like I can
I
think
don't
of
know.
some
But
bro country.
it's weird that it keeps coming up. I wouldn't. I wouldn't use that for myself. So
It's
strange.
it sounds like your voice. That's what I love. Like it sounds like I could go to a show and that's the voice I'm going to hear. Cuz
Yeah.
there's some stuff on the radio. It
Oh,
sounds like they're underwater and it has that auto tune like I like the
or
peaks.
like a
Y-
forced sound kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. Like
Oh,
and I get it when some artist they're playing acoustic solo and they need those harmonies to make it sound bigger. You get that TC Helicon pedal. I absolutely understand that. But
yeah.
like on a record, like sometimes you can just hear like those are just fake harmonies. They're just or they take your one take, put it in Melodyne, and just drop it down, and it just has a robotic sound. And
Yeah, that's a way to do it, I guess. And there's no
yeah,
problem with that. It's
yeah,
just
there's not, and like some recordings are just too clean. You know, like I
yeah.
like the grit. I like hearing that condenser, that sizzle, or you hear the gate open because you're hearing the performance. It
Hmm.
doesn't get any more authentic than that. No, I said it again.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad word. It's like
Yeah,
I just never. I'm always like, well, what's is it because I'm funny or and tell stories or what's authentic? So it's I guess people would have different versions too, you know.
yeah. So
But you'll see if you're coming to that solo show in Elkton, you'll see it's a there'll be a lot of comedy and it'll be pretty authentic.
yeah. Do you have like a bit that's like
I
it
tons of bits, dude. I got tons of bits.
so
My
could
poor band is so tired of my jokes.
oh really could Summer
Yeah.
Dean do a stand up set?
I mean, if I've had the right amount of tequila and I'm comfortable, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of comedy, but it leads into the song and I like I guess that's kind of a like my band was giving me a hard time for like I'll spend 5 minutes setting up a song and the song is 3 minutes and they're like your setup's longer than the damn song, you know, and I was like, yeah, why do I do that? Why do I do that? And uh, two reasons. Number one, I think it makes them listen to the lyrics a little better and
Mm,
remember the song a little better. But but also my heroes have done that. You know, when I was deciding to be a singer, deciding to play out in college and stuff like that, it was the time of Robert Earl Keen was the king and will always be a king, but he was the king and he's got setups that are 5 and 10 minutes long, you know, and I'm a Texas songwriter storyteller. That's what we do. And that's just part of my show. When I don't do it, I don't feel like I've given a real show. Authentic, there it is. True to my what I want to give to my art, you know. It's storytelling and it's comedy and it's uh, sadness and happiness and funniness and levity and I want it all over the place and so I'll keep doing that and the guys can just stand there and keep the beat and vibe the one until I start the song.
yeah. Whose name's on the marquee?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm gonna tell my story.
they were just like Summer. That's a really long time. I think they just get tired of keeping like their fingers even get tired. So I understand that, and so they tell me they wouldn't tell me unless they didn't think you know they know me and I've had the same band for a long time. So they wouldn't tell me something if they didn't think it really could be worked on. So
Yeah.
so I will. So I'll work on it.
Yeah, I like that because like you brought up a good point. Like if you kind of know like the backstory or something about a song, I
Mm-hmm.
would pay more attention to the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And like because
Mm-hmm.
other than that, like as a musician, I'm the lyrics like come last for me. And I've tried just to like really just listen to the lyrics and then I hear something I like and my mind just goes "Zoo,
Yep.
zoo," and
Yeah.
it's difficult, and it's crazy. Like I've been doing this for a while, and like I don't think it'll ever change. And I really want to be able, because like there's some like deep songs, and I'll just totally miss everything about it. And like you upload the video, and you see the comments, and you're like, what? And you listen to it, and you're like, oh my god, oh my
Dude,
god.
yeah, I feel that way when I look at like painting sometimes. I'm like, I don't get it. Like, just a house on a hill to me, like I don't get it or whatever, So, I mean, I don't think that's anything. I mean, I don't think that's a problem. It's just the way you're hearing something, it's just, that's fine. That's why we're going to give you sick beats and solos and shit like that.
Yeah,
So if you do just want to raise your glass and tap your toe and have a good time, you can do that too.
yeah. Now, is there a song that you can put on, and it'll just make you like quote unquote ugly cry every time?
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, He Stopped Loving Her Today is one of the saddest songs ever. Not too long ago, I got a little nephew in San Antonio, and he's 15. And he's not really into the old school country music. He likes like Treaty Oak Revival and things like that. And we were listening to, I was showing him George Jones, and He Stopped Loving Her Today. And I didn't say anything. I just said, just listen to the story. Just listen. He's like, oh, he's dead. He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. That's awful. Uh, that's a super sad song. There's some of mine that still make me cry when I play them if I'm in that mood. Sometimes I'm in show mode and I'm not really thinking about it too much. I've got one called Lonely Girl's Lament that's a really vulnerable song for me, and it shows my real self-conscious side, and there's some lines in that song that are really really sad, but other women come up and they're crying too, and so that's when I knew, that's when I knew that song had done something for women, and that I was onto a vibe. I was clicking into something that I need to click into. So, and there's, yeah, country's sad. What I listened to the other day. Well, this is another authentic thing to say. I've never been married, and sometimes I love that, and sometimes that makes me sad that I'm just like, I'm single all the time. I just don't date. I'm really game faced in life, and so sometimes I'll hear a song that makes me sad about that, and I get a little cryy. Uh, but other times I don't care. But that's real stuff. But yeah, He Stopped Loving Her Today. That's gonna make me cry just about every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny you said, because I've never been married either, and we're around the same age. There are
It's
times
weird, dude.
when
It's weird.
yeah,
Maybe not
it's
weird. It's abnormal.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know a song that made me cry just like last week? Um, it's a Jim Lauderdale song, but the Derailers covered it. Derailers. I was told I say that like a Southerner. Derailers. The Derailers covered it. It's called All the Rage in Paris, and it's a song about there's a town called Paris, Texas. We were all the rage in Paris, San Antonio to Dallas, and basically it's like we were trying so hard to be this big band, and we realized we were a big band. We were just a big band in Texas, and I have such a huge place in my heart for Texas music, and so that song made me emotional the other day. I called Mike Harmeyer actually when it was on, and I was like, "We should do this song." So we'll see how that works out. I hope we do. That'd
Nice.
be cool.
I'll have to check out the original.
Yeah, All the Rage in Paris. Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah,
great.
I'm just like, what else was I gonna ask? That's I swear every time that red light comes on, it's just it's
Yeah.
just names and questions.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Are
like
there anybody? Is there anybody listening on TikTok or no?
there's like 12 people.
Okay, handful. They can ask questions too if they want.
Yeah, leave. Come on, guys, you haven't lived until you've been divorced.
Yeah, I usually tell people I skipped my first marriage.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I like that. That's funny. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My mom has stopped. She stopped asking.
Yeah, I
Just
would mine too. My parents also want me to color my hair. I'm just going gray, and like for so many years in a row, mom gave me money to color my hair for my birthday.
yeah,
Just pocketed it. It's like no way, I'm going gray. But no, I would rather be lonely than miserable, and I don't look at a married woman's life with envy at all. So I'm pretty happy with my life choice. I can do whatever I want. It's pretty awesome.
exactly. That's
It's
yeah,
pretty cool. Live by
yeah,
myself. Haven't had a roommate in 20 years. Like, it's awesome.
yeah. That
Yeah.
closest
No
thing.
kids, no kids like hanging off of me. Nobody else to pay for. It's pretty great.
Yeah, same. I have a dog. That's it.
Yeah, I have a cat. That's it.
Yeah.
I would have a dog. I really want a dog. I want a weenie dog and I want to name it Chili. I have a chili dog.
Huh.
But I don't have one because of my lifestyle. I don't know if the guys would want me to bring a dog on the road. So I
Yeah.
just have a little cat named Beans that just sleeps all day.
Nice.
Yeah. Something to talk to.
Yeah. I got a wiener dog, and he's definitely free to go home. It don't matter what you call him. It's up to him. If he wants anything to do with you, they're
His
little.
world.
Yeah, they're little divas. They're hilarious. It's so funny how small he is and how loud. I'm just like, shut
Oh, it's a
up.
little dog?
Yeah.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a wiener sausage dog.
Ah!
He's a mix. He's a mix with Jack Russell and wiener dog, and he inherited all the bad traits.
Does he have wiry hair?
Nah, he's short.
Short hair, yeah. What's his name?
Man, when I got him, it was Teddy, but I call him Murder Face.
Teddy's a great name. Teddy Roosevelt. It's a great name.
Yeah, he's funny. He's good. He's actually sitting behind me, and he's being very good. Probably because he has a bark collar on.
Does it make him not bark?
Yeah, he bark. They bark at everything, but they're super loyal. But like it's like having a kid. Like I can't can't go anywhere, and if I do go somewhere, I got to make sure the hotel is pet friendly, and you gotta like
There's
wake
one
up.
thing about taking a dog on the road. Like I don't know. There's just I don't know if the good outweighs the bad for that. If
Yeah,
I was in a bus, I would probably do that. But I'm not. We're rolling in a van. I don't really want a bus payment. I have a van. Her name's Vanya Tucker, like Tanya Tucker, and Vanya pulls a big old trailer named Tom T. Hall, Haul, and we're gonna stay in our van until it's just we have to get bigger because it's the most efficient way to tour as a band.
yeah,
And I mean, it'd be badass to be in an RV or a bus, but I just don't want that payment. I'd rather
yeah,
buy more merch or I'd stay in a nicer hotel or something. I don't know. I can't. I just don't want to afford all that right now. It'd
yeah,
be crazy.
yeah,
I don't want a bus until it's not mine to deal with. Like if it's the labels or something, like because that would be crazy and they will break down. God, they're thousands of dollars a day,
yeah.
and I
It's
just don't
crazy.
have that.
Yeah,
I just don't have that. One
yeah,
day,
it's amazing. Of just, it's like trailer tires. Why even put air in them? Just make them solid, because they
Yeah,
always
sure.
pop and
Just
explode. Like,
wheels.
yeah, just go back to wood, or just nail it back together because it's like they just explode. You go get a brand new one, and you hear, and you don't notice at first until like the thing starts driving weird, and you look back, you're like, how? We just went to Tractor Supply. We just got. It's amazing how, and you swear you'll put those latches in, and you hear, and it's like how did the trailer door fall? It's so many.
God, the
It's like,
trailers get really beat up. They
yeah,
do get really beat up. Yeah, and we try to I try really hard to keep really good care of my stuff because I just can't afford to replace it. But they do they do get. We had the ours is a tandem axle, so or double axle, or however you want to say it. But so there's got the fender over it, like the chrome fender. And the problem is that chrome fender looks like you can sit on it, but it's really flimsy, and so it gets bent easy, and it gets pulled from the trailer like the threads, it strips the threads and just pulls from the trailer, and it was flapping one time on our way out to the show, and so and it was hitting the tire. It was a mess. So we had to pull over, and then we didn't have a drill, so I go into Tractor Supply and I just asked somebody if I can borrow a drill from somebody that works there, and then we have to like put a new hole. Like it's just you have to be God, it's a different version. Not everybody can handle all that.
yeah,
Yeah, and especially uh again, this is not a very feminist thing to say, but there are a lot of girls that can handle that, but naturally it's not what we know about, and so thank goodness my dad has taught me well, but it's hard to do all that and then maintain your femininity and but you just have to be another version of a girl, I guess, because it's not a very uh, it's not easy to be a girl on the road because you have to
yeah,
deal with a lot of things, and but it's still pretty fun. I wouldn't trade it.
yeah,
I've never felt more like myself, so that's good.
yeah. And there's definitely a huge sense of freedom of when the only person you have to answer to is yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Pretty
yeah,
awesome.
but yeah, like being on the road, and but it's like a real life Spinal Tap. It's so crazy just how I can't tell you, like with my band, how like one chord can make or break a show, and chords and are like little electronic things that because all the Radio Shacks are gone. All those adapters that you could have
Yeah,
and like fix something or change
everything
something.
has to be ordered.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy. And that's when I like
we carry double of everything.
you have to.
Backups of everything. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like people always ask, they're like, how do you get access to artists? And I said, you don't need a big TikTok following. You don't need to be like a big presence. All you have to do is just DM the artist you're going to see. Now, granted, this doesn't work for stadium artists. Just DM because a lot of these they don't have time to go shop. Just say, hey man, I'm going to the store. What do you need? I can't tell you how many people be like, dude, I need drum. We need drum heads. We need
9 volts.
this. Yeah,
Nine
batteries,
volts. Yeah.
cables, proprietary
Yeah.
cables. Can you order them? And like, yeah, I can get a lot of the stuff will come Amazon today or tomorrow. And I can't tell you, like, that's how I've been able to meet and be like, hey, here's all the drum heads you needed that you busted. Especially if they're like in a bigger like RV or bus, you just can't pull up to a regular store in some of these
No,
places
yeah, there's been a
in
lot of
cities.
times we Amazon things to the venue the next day, or we know somebody in that town who was able to pick up a part for us and then we get it, or there's even been times we put on Instagram or something, hey, somebody in Charlotte, we need somebody that could jump us here or whatever it is, and
Yeah,
people always show up. It's awesome, and for for how small it is, it's for how big it is, it's really small, and
yeah,
it's great. But
yeah,
yeah, you can't just roll into a store much anymore. But yeah, we always need nine volts, even if we have like the rechargeable. Those things don't work sometimes, or I know I always do. A funny thing, my in ears. I wear my battery pack on my belt in the back, not so like whatever, and I'll get to moving around and dancing on stage and stuff, and my fat rolls will turn it down because the knob's on top, and my fat rolls will turn it down because I'm just getting it, getting and dancing on stage, and I'm like, oh, my ear's not working, and I reach back and the volume was just turned down. Happens every show, but that's just real life crap. I guess I need to put it somewhere else, but whatever. But that's been a funny thing that's been happening recently. There's always a 9-volt issue or something like that.
That's
Oh,
funny.
whatever. Yeah.
And do
It's
you always
been,
turn them up way too loud in the first time? Because
well,
man,
I've got
they
it
get
really.
so loud.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. It's a fine. You have to find that perfect little balance of like, I like I like my right one all the way in, and I like my left one just sitting on top. But when you're moving around everywhere, I don't have custom ones, and so uh, they'll get moved around. And I'm not going to say loud, but I have a very powerful drummer, and so his drums just feed into my mic, which means it's feeding into my ears.
Mm,
So yeah, it's loud. It's loud. And I listen to videos. I'm like, I'm not singing. I'm screaming is what I'm doing. That's not singing. That's yelling. But we're working on it, and every time you make a change to your stage, like it affects so many other things, and so we're always chasing the sound. And a crazy thing we were talking about on the way home in the van just a couple of days ago is like we sound check and get it where we like it. And we get off stage, we're like, it sounded good. It's gonna be on. That sounded nice. I like the sound. And the opener plays, and then we get up there, and it's not what it. Like this is not. This is. I don't think this is what we had in the mix, But that's all right. That happens. That happens a lot. It's like, why did we not save these? Why did we not save our sound? But it's just dumb stuff that doesn't matter to the fans, and we just swallow it and put it together and put on a good show and just screw it and complain about it when we get in the van. But
yeah,
we can't make a big deal out of it because we got to give the show. We got to make the show go on
yeah,
and make sure it's great. And they don't know the fans. The listeners. They can't tell, and they don't care anyway. They just want to sing along and have a good time, and so that's what I'll do for them. No matter what.
yeah. And that's the truth. And
Mhm.
it's a hard truth
Yeah.
when you have to. Somebody says, "Hey, man, just play, dude."
Yeah.
Like
It
just
doesn't
go.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell.
you get off stage, and I'll be like, I didn't hear my guitar all night. I hope it was. I hope I didn't get lost in something because I couldn't hear it. Everything's muscle memory. But that's cool. That's live, and it's fine. Sometimes it can get you in a bad mood, and but we're all pretty experienced by now, and we know it's fine. What
Yeah,
matters is how it sounded in the house,
yeah,
and that's fine. Sometimes we don't have enough people there that it matters, and then sometimes it's packed. That happened this weekend. We played a show in Plano, and there weren't hardly anybody there. And then we played the next night in Austin, and it was a line around the building to get in. So it just every night's different, and every sound is different. And you just go for it.
yeah, yeah. That's wild. That it's it's so unpredictable when
Yeah,
it because a lot of times like when you get to those places and depending on the venue or depending on the crowd, it, there's just sometimes when you just like this is either going to be a great show or be a great story.
yeah, yeah. Sure, that's yeah. You either what does Dolly Parton say? You either win or you learn. You don't ever lose. Uh, but uh, it's I don't know. It doesn't matter. You just keep rolling with it, and we don't roll with our own sound guy. I can't afford anybody else, and so we don't roll with our own sound guy. A lot of those problems would probably be fixed if we did, and
Yeah,
we're not in a full in-ear system or anything like that. We don't have a talk back. We're really organic with we just plug and play. I'm the only one with ears, um, just so I can hear myself a little better is all. And all I hear in my ears is my guitar and my vocal. So I just split the monitor.
yeah,
And it's just to give me a little more control over what I'm hearing. But then I still have two monitors in front of me too, though. When the ears go out, when they do, notice it doesn't say if, like when the ears go out because my fat rolls turned it down. Then I depend on the monitors. But like I said, like we can get off stage and we think that it was shit. Like That was the worst show we've played this entire tour. And then I shake it off and go to the merch table, and everybody's like, that was so great. That was so great. And, it just goes to show that, like, it doesn't matter. Like I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter. You got to give the show for the people and have a great time, and not worry about it. But, it's a note to the fans that if the band you went to see is ever in a bad mood, just don't take it personally. It's because we just struggled we wanted to give you a good show and we struggled, but I try not to be in a bad mood. So
Yeah. It,
if I do,
I'd
I'll
say,
just take an attitude adjustment walk and come back,
yeah.
be
I'd say,
grateful that this is my job.
yeah. Something does change when those stage lights come on. You're like,
Mhm.
all right, we're back.
Yeah.
It
I
kind
have
of
a walk
resets
up
you.
song that gets me in just a feminine badass mood just for that reason. So I have that minute and 40 seconds before a show that I'm just back there. The walk up songs for me. It's like, like a baseball player, it's what
Yeah.
they want to hear to get them motivated. It's fun.
What song? Or is it?
Well, now we're rolling with like 4 or 5 different ones, depending on our mood that day and the venue and the show. But um, my favorite, the one that's for me, is Juice Newton, "Angel in the Morning." Just call me Angel in the
Uh,
morning. I don't know why that song just makes me feel good, and so we put it on. I'm sure the crowd's like, "Why is this playing right now?" But now they know it's for me. Mm.
that's funny.
Yeah.
That's that's cool though. That makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, it gets me ready for a show and makes me feel feminine and powerful, and that's the way I want to feel before I play. So I don't want to feel stressed, and also I have a tendency, since I love to perform, I have a tendency to overdo it and push and be like too much to where I'm not sitting in the song and delivering the song well. So I try to breathe, slow down, don't use so much adrenaline, and just, I mean, I definitely give high energy, but I need to stay in the set, stay listening, don't scream. So that song does that for me. Kind of gets me in a most powerful feminine mood, and then I go out and do the show.
Yeah, keeps you centered because I don't sing, but I get just there is an insane when you just walk out and you just see a sea of people. It's incredible. It's such a there's nothing else that feels like that, and
Yeah,
it's just it's awesome.
man, those
Like
nights when the frequency of the band is lining up with the frequency of the crowd, and you just feel it. That's everything. That's everything. It's so fun. And what's also really fun is to watch bands. Uh, like there's not an energy in the room, and the bands that can get up there and just create the whole vibe for the room, and get the crowd and get them there, and then there's the energy in there. There's not every band can do that, and
yeah,
those bands that do, like I think Silverado does that really well, and they just can create this vibe in a room that's so contagious and infectious, and it's just magic when that happens. And I love being in the audience when that happens, and I love being on stage when that happens, and it's pretty cool.
yeah. They definitely have a vibe. I
Hmm.
It's funny I got to see him on like a side stage, and then they were playing like the big amp down at Mile Zero, and I was standing behind a guy who was smoking, and he flicked a cigarette, and the ash I like totally breathed it in, and I had to like run out, and I've just like thrown up, and I'm like, man, am I gonna
Yeah.
get thrown out of this festival? And I'm like, man, and I totally missed their entire show, and I finally I got to see him in Texas, and they blew the roof off the place, and I ran back,
Yeah.
and I was telling Mike, I was like, yeah, man, I was just I was like right at the rail for you guys down Mile Zero, and this dude just, and they're like, ugh, that sounds terrible. I was like, it was because I heard everyone having a great time, and I'm out there with the guys from them Dirty Roses. They're like, come on, man, puke, let's go.
Yeah. Just
I'm like, ugh.
Oh,
It was
that
terrible.
does sound awful.
Oh, thankfully they had like pocket Listerines, and and
Oh,
I didn't even have any beverages yet. I was like, oh my god, this is not the way I wanted to start my night. But
you just puke immediately.
oh,
Oh,
because
that sucks. Did the guy even know he did that?
no, he had no
Yeah.
idea. And like out there, I don't know if you've been to Mile Zero.
Yeah, we played it for
I
the
was
first
like,
time this year.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you played. It was
Mhm.
cold this year. I was talking to
Yeah, they
Taylor
were calling it
Honeycutt.
Mile 0 Degrees Festival.
Yeah, yeah, it was funny. Like I was talking to Taylor Honeycutt. She's like, I was all ready. I had all my summer clothes and blah blah. Next thing you
Yeah.
know, like freezing.
Yeah, I had bought, I mean, I brought like, yeah, Hawaiian halter tops and stuff like that to wear. And so for the show, I did not wear what I brought to wear because for my set, the warmest thing I had was like a crochet crop top. You know, I did not bring warm clothes, but whatever. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. Taylor's a badass, by the way. She's so great and she's
Yeah,
kicking ass right now. And it's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The whole band.
Yeah, they're great.
They're yeah, they're amazing. Tallest band, and what's going on right now? It's just like talking to them. Just like, all right, man, sit down.
Yeah, my rhythm section's the same way. Both my rhythm guys are 6'3" and up.
There you go.
Yeah, they're big. They're big dudes. So whenever I need a visual of security, I'll just go get my rhythm section. Two big dudes standing next to me. They're great.
Yeah, it's definitely. I told her I was like, I know your band's here because I can't see that wall over there anymore. From floor to ceiling, it's just them. And she goes, yeah, they're my redwoods.
You know, I have a funny story about Taylor. Um, let's see, is the best way to start it. So this guy told me about this girl that was a singer. This is many years ago, and said she wants to give you some merch, and I was like, okay, sure. I don't know who you're talking about, and I didn't pay any attention to it, and I should have. That was really shitty of me. I didn't pay any attention to it, and I was like, oh, this is another blonde with a power voice. Great, awesome. They kick my ass every damn time. And so, and then later, Taylor and I became friends, and she said, that was me. That I was the one that gave you the merch a long time ago. I was like, oh shit. I'm so sorry. If I'd have known, like, I was just not in the mood for a powerhouse blonde singer in my face at the damn moment. And she's like, no, I think it's funny. But I think she's just, I think she's going to be huge. I told her the other day, it's like, I just feel it in my gut, Taylor. You're going to be huge. She's just, her vocals are amazing, and her energy is on stage is amazing, and her band is with her, and she's getting badass opportunities and has good management and good booking. And so, like, everything is lined up for Taylor Honeycutt to be huge. I know that if people are listening to your stuff, then they know about her because you talk about her and have had her on. So if anybody is listening to this at any time, please look up Taylor Honeycutt because she's worth listening to, and be the one who knew her before she got huge. 'Cause she's already blowing up.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's so
yeah,
good.
yeah. I got to go to her first sold out show,
Oh,
and like
awesome.
she, we
That's
were at that.
emotional. Sold out shows are they're emotional.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
it was funny is at the after party, I was talking to her and she was like, I couldn't hear anything. She's like, are you sure it was good? She's like, I didn't know. I couldn't hear my guitar. I couldn't hear my voice. And I was like,
Yep.
it was great. I assure you, like, I would let you know, like, maybe this, but no, everything was awesome. But it just, like you were saying earlier, like sometimes you don't know that you did a fantastic job and just changed someone's life
Yeah.
and
And she can do
experience.
that for sure. She can do that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's 6:27, and you said it didn't matter when we stop at Wheel of Fortune comes on in 3 minutes, and I watch that every day.
I
So
love it.
I'm gonna have to get off. I watch it every day, and I text my mom, and so I got to do it if I can.
All right. Yeah. 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 Is there anything you just want to say before you get on?
Well, I mean, business wise, we put out that new single in January, Somebody's Knocking, and it's a Terry Gibbs song from 1980, and we redid it. I really love our version of it. It's one of
Yeah,
the first times I've put out a tune that I actually would jam my own songs. Like, usually I'm proud of them, I like them, but I do not jam my own tunes. I can jam this tune. I still do, and I love it.
yeah.
Um,
Great
but
video
the
too.
newest episode of Righteous Gemstones, the original version is at the end, over the credits. And so I hope people look it up and then find my version. I wish my version was on there, but
Yeah,
so yeah, I was just plugging my songs. I would love somebody to go listen to our songs and come hear us play and come laugh at our jokes because there's going to be a lot of them and know that I probably can't hear myself because my fat rolls have turned down my ears.
that's funny. So yeah, yep. Everybody stream and come see Summer Dean live.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it a ton. Very nice to meet you. Not
Nice
in
to meet you.
IRL yet, but I will in Elkton.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
I will definitely be there.
cool. Thank you. I'm
So
glad.
well,
So there's
enjoy
going to
your.
be one person. That's one person's going to be there. That's good.
Yep, I'll try. I'll try. I'll help. But all right. Well,
Good.
thanks for jumping on and enjoy your show.
You bet. Anytime. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Summer. See you.